I decided that if I was going to spend 4 years doing something, that I'd like to do something that changed a life. And I was a teacher for 15 years in places like Gerraween, Merriwa and anywhere difficult. And I saw young people that had everything, it seemed, and absolutely fell through the cracks. And I saw other young people who had nothing, apparently, and seemed to go on to great success. So for me, that's why I came back and did psychology, and then ended up in the School of Education. So my topic was resilience in young people. I wanted to know what were the keys, and if we can work out the keys, we can prevent so many mental health issues. The problem with resilience, though, is that most of our data comes from the United States and Canada, and most of it's based on adult point of view. So that's like a young person goes through a serious risk, and I go to their teacher and say, how did they deal with it? Now what we're missing here is the intricacies of their world, and we're making assumptions about their world, and they're inaccurate. And the real tragedy, though, is that we're basing programs on that. So we use all these great programs, and as a teacher I saw that things didn't work. So I had a girl come up to me, I'll never forget, one of the most poorly functioning girls at school, said, Miss Shean, I know what self-esteem is, and gave me the best definition you've ever heard. And I knew that she knew it, she had the knowledge and the skills, but she wasn't practicing it. So what did I do? I went and did some research. I asked adolescents who had been through risk and were doing well. And this is ironic as well. These kids had to say that they thought they were resilient. They are never asked in research when they're included in it whether they actually believe they are as well. So it had to be that to be in my research. And I asked them what counted, what mattered to you. So these are all the things that I had in my mind. This is what was going to come up. And it's funny, when you actually do interviewing, you're asking questions, you're actually asking questions because you don't know the answer. So why do we go into things thinking that we should be finding things? I'm not really quite sure. None of these things are coming up. I got into a little bit of a panic, but it's okay. I don't know what you think when you think about resilience. What do you think you need to have good outcomes? I think we all have something in our mind. Key thing, number one, that came out of all the interviews and the focus groups that I did was being valued, having a sense of value, that my life is worth something. That's their words. When I realised that I had worth, that's when I changed my life. When I was worthless, what was the point? Why invest in something that has no value? So you can see all these skills and knowledge that we're giving them. If they don't think they have any value, why would they use them? It's like getting the Lamborghini and giving it a good polish because it's worth something, but are you going to do that to the old $500 Datsun? You're not investing in those things. Does it work? Yes, this is amazing. I've been working as a psychologist for the last 2 years in schools, and I have had just so many opportunities to see this work. So I've had one boy got sent to me. He'd been 6.5 years of his school life. He was in year 7. He had been basically punching people at random and just violent, aggressive, terrible, terrible home life. I knew his home life quite well. Came to me and I said to him, you know what? I think you're a great kid. He goes, no, I'm not. No, I said, no, I can see you're honest. He goes, I lie to everyone. I said, have you lied to me yet? He's like, well, no. So he started to extract the value and started to build on something. This kid did not get sent to the office one more time that year. And then one of the last weeks, and he drove it. He'd come to me, Mandie, how do I get on better with these kids? Like, he drove the intervention from that point. So he came to me the last week and I said, you know, hey, is any news? And he goes, you'll never guess. He said, I won Aussie of the Month. And he said, haven't been to the office for 6 months and I won Aussie of the Month. And he's still doing really well now. And I've seen it over and over and again. And I think the point is that if we have a sense of value, we drive what happens in our life. We want to inspire people to change. We don't hit people over the head and say, you know, your life will be better if you do this social skills program. What we want to do is say, you know what, I believe in you. I think you're valuable. You're a great person, not because you're beautiful and intelligent and like what society and the magazines would tell us, but just because you're there and you're a person. So I challenge you, find the value in people around you, and you too can change your life.